The Capitol Hill Show with Tim Constantine. Serving Washington, D.C. and all of America.
Joining us on the telephone right now is Colonel Allen West. Colonel, how are you?
I'm doing well, Tim.
We've got a couple of things we want to talk about. I know we want to get in Obama's next power grab, but before we get to that, let me ask you about what you think has unfolded over the past 16 days. The conventional wisdom seems to be, the Republican right, the Tea Partiers made a huge blunder here. I didn't see the Tea Partiers blinking. I saw the moderates blink, and it all caved in. So I'm wondering, are we blaming the right people?
Well, no, I don't. I think that the Tea Party and really constitutional conservatives, they really end up always being a good scapegoat because you have so many people that are now really addicted to big government spending. And that includes, like you say, a lot of the people up on Wall Street, because when you have a government that is 25% of our gross domestic product, when you have a government that continues to print more money, that props up the market, they want to see that go on. And I don't think they're really concerned about this debt problem that we're amassing in the future for our children and grandchildren. So eventually, this house of cards will crumble. And I believe that there are those out there being, the clarion voices trying to get us to turn this government spending and this debacle around. And they just got to get more and more, articulate and communicating that message.
It was funny. Ted Cruz has been vilified for this. Oh, how dare you? And I thought, when I look at Ted Cruz, or I look at down in Florida, there's Ted Yoho, or any other folks that ran on fiscal responsibility, ran on trying to rein the government in, ran on trying to close down Obamacare, and now they're doing exactly what it was that they ran on. I can't criticize that. The example I made yesterday, I said if there's a flaming liberal that runs in Northern California and then actually tries to deliver on his or her promises, I may disagree with them politically, but I can't criticize them for doing what they promised. And the amount of criticism some of these members on the right have been taking for simply following through on what it was they actually ran on is unbelievable.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tim, and I think that what you see playing out is the dilemma between politics and policy. Do the American people want people that are going to go to Washington, D.C. and talk about principal policy solutions for the situation in which we find ourselves, or do you want people that's going to go and play politics and the game of power grab, which is really what is happening there? So, when you think about our debt situation, the fiscal situation that we're in, even our foreign policy and national security situation, which no one is talking a lot about, we're really at the precipice, staring down into a very, very deep chasm, and we're not that far away from taking that, unfortunate step. And so someone, has to make that stand. And look, there comes a time when, people are seeing folks that are trying to do what is right. It may seem unpopular, but you have to continue to try to do what is right because eventually it will become popular.
Let me ask you a personal question. I look at athletes when they're injured. I look at athletes when, for whatever reason, they're out of the game. Bo Jackson, it must be very difficult when he was still young and vibrant, but he had his injuries, couldn't play at the same level, or for whatever reason, somebody has to sit out of the game. You've been in Congress. How hard was it to watch this and not be part of it?
Well, it was twofold. It was, I'm still commentating on what's going on up there, and, there's a part of you that wants to be there and continue to try to speak out. But then there's another part of you that just sees it as a very shameful display, and you don't want to be a part of this losing team that you see. And I'm not talking about certain factions. I'm talking about the 535 that are up there. I'm talking about Washington, D.C. So there's a part of me that is kind of glad that I'm on the outside observing and commenting on what is going on and talking about solutions and things that need to be done to prepare the way for, my eventual return.
You talk about being able to commentate on various topics, and the great part about being on the outside is you get to drive the debate. You get to choose what it is you'd like to talk about. One of the things you're pointing out right now is Obama's next power grab, and there's no shortage of things he's trying to grab, but one of them has to do with trade promotion, what they call fast track. Tell me what it is, and tell me what the president's trying to accomplish.
Well, what the president is trying to do is usurp the authority of the Congress, where, the Commerce Clause says that the Congress is responsible for commerce, trade events between the United States and other nations. Well, he's trying to usurp that authority for what is called fast track so that he can be the one-stop end-all for trade agreements. And then once that happens, I mean, there's not too much the Congress can come back to do. And really, this is a long line of usurpations that we've seen from the president when you think about what has happened with the Affordable Care Act. You know, we live in a republic, and once a law is passed, it's supposed to be executed by the president. It's not supposed to be amended. You're not supposed to be granting waivers and exemptions, just the same as we see with some of the backdoor activities where they're trying to go through the United Nations. The gun control issue, Arms Trade Treaty is a case in point. So we have to be very concerned because now we're talking about, you know, a president, an executive branch that can pick the winners and the losers based upon his cronies and his associates in big business corporations. And then there's also something we should be concerned about is the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which is another, you know, NAFTA, CAFTA type of trade agreement, which will put the American worker and the American corporation that wants to stay in America and do the right thing behind the eight ball.
Well, the irony for me is Barack Obama loves to make himself out as watching out for the little guy. And when you look at...
Well, that's a lie. I mean, that is a total lie to him, and we don't have enough people with courage to say that. He keeps talking about the middle class, the middle-income people in America. Their wages have been depressed. Look at, you know, he's granted the employer mandate to be delayed for a year, but not the individual mandate. So he really does not care about the little guy, the individual. He cares about his power grab.
Well, and in the instance you talk about, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, am I mistaken, or is this the banks, the drug companies, the big insurance companies? Those are the ones that benefit from this.
You're absolutely right, and as a matter of fact, that was part of the reason he was supposed to go for the Asia Summit, which he threw a tantrum about, saying he couldn't go because of the quote-unquote government slim down, which is only 17% of the government was affected. So there's so many things that we need to have the watchmen on the walls that are paying attention to. That's why we have people like you out there on talk radio, because we've got to get an American electorate that is educated and understanding that slowly but surely this constitutional republic is being eroded. I mean, the president said he wanted to fundamentally transform the United States of America 5 days before his 2008 election, and he is darn sure well doing it.
Alan, I don't think you know this about me. I used to own a number of factories and worked in the textile industries overseas. And so when I see this going on, I see firsthand what this would do. You hear the president saying, oh, this would create jobs. And it's not true. I mean, it is simply not true. I know this industry inside and out in the textile side anyway. And what they're saying and what reality is are two completely different things.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And think about how strong the textile industry used to be in the United States of America. I remember in Georgia and, of course, in South Carolina, it was incredibly huge. North Carolina was another instance of the textile industry, and now it's gone. And so we need to talk about those economic, fiscal policies, trade policies that can promote the return of American industry and production and manufacturing so that we can get Americans back to work. But this government, this Obama administration, is not about creating the opportunity society. They're about creating the dependency society, and that you can't debate that. You see that happen.
Colonel Allen West, always a pleasure to talk with you, my friend. Thanks for taking the time today.
Thanks so much, Tim.
You're listening to the Capitol Hill Show with the voice of reason, Tim Constantine.